Comedian investigates. Subject, Gregory Gillaspie. What makes a man go from fulfilling his dream of working in motion picture to doing a 180 and becoming a professional in the pizza industry? Gregory Gillaspie. Welcome. Should we try that again? Gregory Gillaspie. Welcome. You have a checkered past, to say the least.
Oh boy.
Wow. You tell me. So you start out as a filmmaker coming out of Texas. You go to New York, and somehow you wind up in Nashville making pizza. So your dream, and actually I'm going to pull this up right now. This is GregoryGillaspie.com.
You like that?
I do like it. You look a little younger there.
Yeah.
What were you, 13?
Yeah, it was 12. Actually, it was right
12.
after my quinceañera.
Oh, that's nice. And for the audience, can you explain what that is?
Oh, it's for Hispanic girls, you know, when they reach adolescence.
Okay. So your folks decided to give you something that's predominantly for women. So then you did as any aspiring filmmaker would do, and you went and created yourself an IMDb page.
I don't think I created it. I think it was created for me, given on a credit of some sort.
Oh, I see. If you're in a film, they'll actually just make the page for you, which would explain why your snazzy little picture is not here.
Right.
Okay. Now we scroll down here, and you have some credits, but of course the one that stands out, The Dark Knight Rises.
Yeah.
And you have an uncredited part in this film, right?
Yeah.
Well, let's see if we can scroll down here and find you.
Oh, you'll find me there. But...
we got Christian Bale, Gary Oldman, Tom Hardy, Joseph Gordon-Levitt, Anne Hathaway, Morgan Freeman, Michael Caine. Well, let's see if we can find Gregory Gillaspie. Oh, there it is. Oh, wow.
You might ask me if it was intimidating sharing the screen with all that talent.
I had to know, was it intimidating sharing the screen with all that talent?
It really wasn't, Doc.
I really, really doubt that. Who were you in the scene with?
Joseph Gordon-Levitt and Christian Bale.
Okay. Of those two, who is the most intimidating?
Christian Bale.
Are you professional or not? Yes, I am. Do I walk around and rip down? No, shut the up, Bruce. Do I want? No! No! Don't shut me up. Am I going to walk around and rip your lights down in the middle of a scene? Then why are you walking right through?
But the question we all want to know is, how does a Gregory Gillaspie land a forgettable part in a major motion picture?
I was a big Batman fan. I was following the production of the film and Googling the code name, because you could figure out the code names they'd use for the movies. This one was Magnus Rex. Magnus Rex was the code name, which was basically the name they put for what they were shooting, because they didn't want people to know they were shooting Batman. You know, they didn't want a big sign that said Batman set this way or whatever. So they had this fake dinosaur with glasses as the logo and everything, and it was Magnus Rex. So I was Googling Magnus Rex. I had lived in New York for about a month or two, and I found a casting notice for Magnus Rex in New York, and they had been previously shooting in Pittsburgh, but they had a casting notice, and so I was like, oh, well, I'm going to show up to that. And so I showed up. The line was like down the street, around the block, and I got there an hour early, and they were going all day. And so I was like, oh man, I don't know, and everybody knew what it was for. And so bring us in large groups, and anyway.
And you read with Christian right there?
Yeah, I sat down with Christian and it was a good fit. And no, like I said, they didn't even say the word Batman anywhere. Everybody knew, but they were like, "This is for this is for Magnus Rex. It might not be called that when it's out." Everyone's like, "Oh, okay." And then I got an email. I don't remember how long later, saying they'd like me to be in the film, and they'd like me to go to stunt rehearsals, and
Wow.
they were going to pay me for that, and costume fittings and all these things. I was over the moon just because it was The Dark Knight and Batman Begins are my two favorite films, and this is the third in the trilogy that I'm already just excited to see it. And the fact to even be a part of it at all was just mind blowing. So I was so excited. Called my mom, everything, told, and then a few days later, I got a call saying, "Hey, this is the casting agency. As of right now, we don't need you.
Ooh.
And don't show up to your costume fitting."
Oh, dang.
And I'm like, "But wait a second,
What about the email?
yeah, what about the," and anyway, so they're just like, "Yeah, just as of right now, don't show up to your costume fitting." I'm like, okay. So what do? Show up to my costume fitting. I had the address and everything, so I just showed up, and I was like, and so I get in line, and again, this was for Magnus Rex. They had this entire building rented out, like they were a company for this movie, and this production office, and like blown up example, like sheets for you to fill out, and they had like your name, dress, all that stuff, and then names were like Mr. Freeze and the Riddler and stuff. And I remember that being the only thing that was pointed towards Batman at all this entire process, because it was super, super secretive. But anyway, I get to the front of the line with the lady, and I'm like, "All right, I'm here for my costume fitting." And she's like, "All right, where's your name? And you're not on the list." I'm like, "Well, look, I have this email." And she's like, "Oh, you know what? They actually got too many people." I was like, "Oh man, you don't understand. Like, I'm so excited about this. I'm such a fan. I've told my family." And she's like, "All right, let me get your name, and we'll find you something." I'm like, "Okay." And then before I left, I asked her, "Just got to ask, is Christopher Nolan in the building?" She's like, "No. And if he was, even I don't have the authority to talk to Christopher Nolan."
That seems like such a great way to be asked to leave forever.
I got another email about another scene, and I showed up to that. And it was a much smaller scene. The scene I was supposed to be in was the one at the end that was shot on Wall Street, where they have all the bad guys and the cops come at each other. And it's a really big scene. So you probably wouldn't have been able to see me in that scene, but this scene was smaller, and gosh, went through makeup and wardrobe and everything. I remember they gave me new shoes and a bag and all this stuff, like just for, something that was just a split second. It just showed me what a $250 million movie looks like. I remember we met up at a hotel, everyone, and then we walked to set, and I show up, and there's Christopher Nolan just walking around, and Christian Bale's sitting in his chair, and Joseph Gordon-Levitt's just hanging out, and we had to sign a document, an NDA, that we couldn't talk about the film because they had told us that the villain has forced Bruce Wayne out of his company, and he's lost all his money. And anyway, so we got a few details, which was nice because it was details to make me feel special, but it didn't spoil the film at all for me. So yeah, I was there, and they shot on one side, and then they moved over to do coverage of the other side, and they moved me over. Someone gave me a camera to act like I'm taking pictures of Bruce Wayne, and
nice.
I started to do it, and then one of the ADs came up to me and was like, "You can't do that. You were on the other side." I was like, "Well, I don't think they saw me." He's like, "We shot in IMAX. Trust me, we saw you." I was like, "All right." And sure enough, they didn't even use those other shots. They just used that one main shot, really. And sure enough, you see me. And it was just really cool perspective of what a just massive motion picture looks like. Again, a month or two into film school.
So what's it like being friends with Christopher Nolan?
I remember asking the AD, the same one that told me I couldn't stand on the other side with the camera. By the way, they made sure those cameras had like nothing in them,
Oh, yeah, sure.
Parts. We couldn't have cell phones, anything. I was like, "Hey, what a stupid question thinking back, but I was like, can I forego my pay just to speak to Christopher Nolan, just to shake his hand?" And he was like, "No, just observe." And I totally could have gone up and just said something to him. I actually made sure to brush his arm because he was standing next to me at one point.
Okay, that's weird.
Just to say I touched him. You know what I mean? Just hoping he'd rub off a little bit. And I could have said something. It just was intimidating because he was in the zone. He seemed approachable, but it was Christopher Nolan.
So I asked the wrong question. Not how's your friendship? How was it receiving the restraining order?
It was dandy. I got to sit in a courtroom with him and everything.
We got another scene. It was a whole other scene.
We got a whole other scene.
But Gregory is best known for his gourmet pizza. What made Gregory decide, forget the filmmaking, I have to get my hands in that dough?
Before moving to Nashville, actually, I started tossing around the idea of it'd be fun to learn how to make pizza. And then moving, I was like, man, the pizza here is just not super special. There's some stuff that kind of scratches the itch, but there was no really special pizza. Like if I had a friend from New York come, there's no pizza place I'd be like, you got to try this.
Well, there's Little Caesars and then there's everything else.
Yeah. So I was like, I'm going to learn how to make pizza. So I saved up some stuff, started buying equipment. And I decided I wanted to learn how to make grandma style pizza because I liked it and it was cooked in a pan. A little bit easier than learning how to toss dough and you could also bake it at 500 to 550 degrees, which is like the max temperature of most home ovens. So I got what's called a baking steel, 1/2-inch sheet of steel you throw in the oven, and it acts kind of like the surface of a pizza oven. Gets just really, really hot. And I started baking grandma style pizza on that. And grandma style pizza is a style from Long Island, or was coined that term. It was coined that because it's something like what an Italian grandma would make, and from this pizzeria called Umberto's. And it's square, it's cooked in a pan, you put olive oil on the bottom, get it all fried. It's crispy and it's not super thick, but it's not as thin as a New York slice either. And so it's somewhere in between. So it has a little more structural integrity than like a really thin pizza. So you can go for a really chunky sauce. And it's, to me, all about flavor. And so anyway, so I decided I wanted to make grandma style pizza. So I started playing around with that. And the idea was, every few weeks I'll have one of these pizza nights. I'll make some pizza. I'll invite some friends over. It'll be fun. And, and the first one was 5 people. Pizza wasn't that good. It was too salty. Dough wasn't very good. I was still learning about everything. And I mean, you'll never stop learning, but I had a long way to go. And so, as the pizza kind of got better, more and more people kept showing up when we'd say we were doing a pizza night. Got to the point where I think eventually it was 70 people showing up, just packing into Seth's house and just having a really good time, and a lot of church community and just.
But who was Gregory really trying to impress?
Lift passengers. I remember these 2 girls that were visiting from Texas, and they.
I bet you do.
They showed up to a pizza night, and then weeks later or months later, I had another one there back in town, and they showed up again. Anyway, so it was just
I see your gimmick here. All right. Okay.
No, it was really just to inspire community and have fun. And
well, I think there's easier ways to meet women, Gregory. You don't have to learn how to make pizza.
No. But it helps.
Okay.
Girls like pizza.
Yeah. I got married without that. So.
Well, okay. Well, maybe you're just better looking than me.
No doubt I'm better looking, but how do you go from simply giving away pizza to becoming a bona fide business?
I decided, I guess we'll start trying to do a pop-up somewhere. We'll see if anybody wants to buy this pizza. I've just been giving it away for free. I'm glad. I mean, we put out my Venmo if anybody wanted to help with the ingredient cost, but I was just giving it away.
I really like those days too. One week I'm getting it for free, and the next time I show up, you're like, oh, I need $20. What is this?
Yeah, and you have to wait in line.
Yeah. Oh, it was horrible. It was horrible.
Yeah, I can imagine.
No, you can't. You really can't, Gregory.
Well,
you don't know what it's like for the customer on your side. Just going, okay, so Why are we being herded in here like cattle? And, you get a slice of pizza and maybe a bowl of soup. And then you're asked to leave immediately. And I have to pay. But,
I think
it's quite the racket, but the pizza is amazing.
Thank you.
So
if there's any consolation, now that I'm charging for it, it is more work and the ingredients are higher quality and the pizza has overall just continued to go.
Yeah. And to give people an idea, you grind your own flour.
I mill my own flour.
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
Ferment the dough for about a week, 5 days about, and then make the mozzarella the day of. And so it's a lot of work just to make one pizza.
Gregory definitely works hard, but one thing still blows my mind. People should know this. You don't like cheese. Now, how is that? Gregory Gillaspie, how do you call yourself a pizza maker, which you've already said that you've decided that you're not going to label yourself anything. But how do you become, Chef Boyardee and not like cheese?
Well, I don't put any Parmesan or Pecorino on my pizza. I don't have any hard cheese or sharp cheese. I just mozzarella. I don't really eat mozzarella on anything other than pizza, and I do eat pizza, but it's like, it tastes like creamy salt, really. And now that I know how to make it, I know what goes in it. It doesn't have that like cheesy taste. And that's kind of a family thing. I don't know. My mom doesn't like cheese. My dad didn't really like cheese. My family don't love cheese, and I eat pizza. And other than that, there's really not much I'll eat with cheese on it.
It would be nice if we didn't like cheese. It'd save a lot of money, but
probably, and calories. It's not great for you. But
wow.
To make the best mozzarella, you need the highest content of fat in your milk, which I get from a farm outside Nashville.
Oh, nice. Okay. Well, so all that said, your pizza is, and I'm not saying this just because, we're friends. I'm not saying this to schmooze and hope for a free slice. It's the best pizza I've ever had.
Thank you. But it hasn't gotten you to stop eating Little Caesars. That's been my goal with my friends, is the pizza to be so good that they become pizza snobs.
Okay. If you open up down the street and I'm having a craving for pizza, I will be there. Until that happens, Gregory, I'm going to have to continue eating this crap with pizza sauce and fake cheese.
Yeah.
Yeah. Your job is not done. You need to start franchising. You have to duplicate yourself somehow.
I'm working on that. I got several Amish friends I'm trying to.
Well, yeah, but one of your Amish friends that was your right-hand man, according to you, quote unquote, just got married and ran away.
He didn't run away.
He ended up marrying one of the girls that you had given a lift ride.
No. You're making that up. It's not true. He got married. He's almost back. But
oh, he's coming back.
He's coming back. Well, one of them ran away. Brother Jonas is coming back from his honeymoon, but Uncle Elam, he's gone.
He's gone. He's just gone.
He might come back. We'll see.
I don't know.
I know.
It's probably you were just working him too hard.
No, those Amish guys, you can work as hard as you want. They don't get tired of it. They thrive off the work. That's what I was concerned about. But of course, I have another guy, Amish free Ben, and maybe I have to be careful about him working him too hard.
Okay, because he'll just do it for fun.
Yeah.
Wow. So why are you going through the Amish community? Why have you decided that is the pool that you need to pull from? Is it because you mill the flour? I do remember you asking me to help. It was a very quick interaction between us where you said, would you be willing to help hand out pizza? And I said, absolutely not, Gregory.
Oh.
I will not be abused in such a way. How close are Gregory and Brother Jonas?
We didn't know this for a while until after he had helped me at the pop-up. But literally, if you put his address in from where I live, we live 1 minute away down the road. So God had just put this dude in my life that tried my pizza and said, I'm going to help you open up a pizza shop, and sure enough, he was just right there.
Now, are you sure that he didn't move in next door, kind of a stalker type thing? You always feel better when the stalker gets married.
Well, yeah. I was going to say now
on.
It's a little bit better. Well, he moved to Brentwood, and then I followed him to Brentwood. So
roles reversed. And now the question we've all been dying to know.
Gaga was my grandmother.
Is Gaga still alive?
No.
I'm sorry to bring up such a difficult topic.
No, it's okay.
When did she pass?
I was in high school.
Gaga passed away years ago, but I still had to ask. Was it COVID?
Oh,
was it COVID?
Everything was.
Well, that wraps up another case, and Gregory Gillaspie, he's an interesting fella, to say the least. A lot of irons in the fire, and I love that about this guy. He's not afraid to take chances. We see that with his pizza. We see that with him being willing to just do whatever it took to get on a film that he wanted to just be a little bit of a part of, and he got to taste that. That's so great. So I encourage you, if you need a video produced, if you need somebody to help with your film, check out GregoryGillaspie.com. And if you're in the Nashville area, you definitely got to go to gagasgrandmapies.com, sign up for the email there. You're going to end up tasting some of the greatest pizza you'll ever have. I've had a ton of pizza in my life. There's been, I don't know how many pounds of pizza have come through this body. And I'm telling you, his is the best. It's just outstanding. One last request. If you'd please share this, I'd appreciate it. I'm putting a lot of work into these cases, and I know you're having fun going through them. So please share this. It doesn't take much on your end, and it means everything to me.